I got a man-sized
I
predicament.
love the way
and
that
it's a
starts.
big one.
He's got plenty. We've seen it. We go to the bathroom together.
And it was just too clear. I had to
She
get
had to sit on my face.
Disco girl, she sounds like a slut.
Hey, do you have Disco's number?
Now we're getting into the you fucker.
We're getting into the you fucker part of the segment here.
All right.
270.
72. Yeah, you old fuckers. The cheapest stuff is all I need.
The whole notion of sex is very silly for all the trouble we have to go through to get some nookie. I want to put my log in your fireplace.
This is a fuck you song. Sorry to interrupt, but I wanted this one so bad, you dick.
Yeah, Gene, money definitely plays a part, and so might your 12-inch tongue or your 7-inch leather heel. I was today years old when I learned that story.
And I know people are going to probably go, what the fuck? Welcome back, everybody, to Rock Resurgence Radio. My name is Chad, the host.
And I'm your co-host, Bergie.
Hey, on today's show, we got a very special guest. Mr. Anthony, Hair Metal Guru, is here to join us for our episode. Tell us where we can find your stuff.
Hey, it's awesome to be back. Yeah, you can find the Hair Metal Guru channel. You can find me on X at Hair Metal Guru. I got a couple Facebook pages, Classic Rock Fargo, Hair Metal Guru. I'm doing, basically the same thing you guys are doing, talking about the greatest musical generation and genre of all time. So, hey, stop by my channel if you haven't checked it out. Lots of cool stuff about hair metal bands and heavy metal bands.
You always got some art. Is there any art? Any Kiss shit you got?
Oh, I don't have any Kiss shit, but I will show. This is a original Kerrang magazine ad for the Gypsy Road single from Cinderella. And if you want to see Kiss stuff, well, right behind me on this wall, that I'm pointing to right now is a 1974 original ad for the debut album. It came out of a Cream magazine, and there's all sorts of Kiss stuff up on there. So,
yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
I see shade for sure. And yeah,
Crazy
cool,
nights.
cool. Well, if you haven't guessed, this episode is all about Kiss.
Yeah.
And this idea came about from my co-host, Bergie. So I'm going to let him talk about it and tell you what we're doing here. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, so I wanted to do a top whatever Kiss songs, and we've done all kinds of round tables where we each guy picks their own like top 10 or whatever, and then we go around the room basically and talk about it. And I wanted to make sure that we did what I came up with was a top 40, and how I decided to do it, I wanted to make sure that we didn't have repeat songs. So each of us only got one song at a time, and to do that, I thought of it like a draft. So that's how we did it, like a fantasy football draft, or you think of an NFL draft where the guys go around and they only get one chance to make the right pick. Now, because I thought of it, I got to start first. So I ended up with the number one song.
Right.
And there'll be some debate or whatever when we get to those. So what we did, to make it even, we picked 46 total songs, and then the top 40 are our top 40. And the two songs that we each picked after the top 40 are going to be our honorable mentions. So I envisioned this as a countdown episode like Casey Kasem or Rick D's weekly top 40. So when I made my notes, I did it like that. So when I start the countdown, it'll sound like a top 40 show. So with all that being said, why don't we just get the ball rolling? Guru, you picked two songs that didn't make the top 40. What are they?
So my last two, the last song that I chose, which was the 45th draft pick. And by the way, let me just add this. What a great fucking idea. Like now I'm trying to figure out how to do a draft of a band's songs on my channel, because we had a shared document. And so Bergie started off with number one, and then, I had the third pick. So, there'd be times where he'd be like, oh, crap, I was going to take that next. It was just a lot of fun, kind of like a football draft. So anyway, it was a great idea. So I was pumped to be a part of it.
Yeah.
The last song song number 45 that I took, that is, the last two don't count, was Nothing to Lose off the 1974 debut. It's a fantastic song. It has Gene, Paul, and Peter sing on it. Just bounces, great song. I'm actually surprised it made it to the end, and I kind of feel like I should have picked it earlier. And then at the number 42 draft pick, so my other song that isn't going to make it is Every Time I Look at You from 1992's Revenge album. Everyone knows I love pussy ballads. So I think that's a phenomenal ballad. The Revenge album, I feel, is criminally underrated. Only went gold. Fantastic album. So Nothing to Lose and Every Time I Look at You were my last two that are technically not part of the top 40.
Cool. Yeah, it's funny. We were talking a little bit before we started, and I didn't realize how much I fucking like Kiss. They wrote a lot of great shit. God damn it. It was really hard, and yeah, it was. There were some debates, and there was a God damn it, I missed that one.
There was a lot of that.
Yeah, when it comes to my pick at number one, I missed out, man. I missed a good one. But anyways, we'll get to that later. My two are Rise to It off Hot in the Shade. And I saw this tour in Fargo.
I was there.
Yeah, who the hell opened it? It was Slaughter and somebody else.
Faster Pussycat.
Faster Pussycat.
Yeah. So really good show. And I think I've seen Kiss 3 or 4 times now. And they always put on a great show. I saw him in Jamestown, of all places, on what the fuck tour was that now? Asylum, I think. Asylum.
Okay.
King Cobra opened for him.
No shit.
Yep. So, yeah, I couldn't believe there was a concert in Jamestown, North Dakota.
Civic Center?
Yeah, a little fucking venue. It wasn't very big.
Yeah.
It was probably 5,000-6,000 people.
High school.
Something like that. But it was cool. Yeah, it was really cool. So Rise to It off Hot in the Shade. And then my other one that didn't quite make the cut, and I know people are going to probably go, what the fuck? But is Beth from Destroyer.
Yeah, it's a little shocker that's not going to be in
That
our
made
top 40.
it made it all the way to that pick. You guys could have fucking picked it,
For
dude.
sure.
I'm shocked because I do love that song. But I had a couple other ballads that I picked ahead of that. Amazing that Beth didn't make the top 40.
It didn't make the top 40, and it's probably one of their biggest songs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I will talk about it for sure when I get to some of my songs, but it was one of they had a number 7 hit, number 8 hit, and a number 11, like on the US singles chart. I think Beth was the number 8 hit, or maybe that was their highest charting.
I think,
yeah.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. That's where it got picked, and it said goodbye. And that's the only thing I'm going to say.
Right. Okay. As my 2 songs before I start the countdown are, and I have to mention this, it was my
I know what you're gonna
46th.
say.
It was the last pick. I got a coworker. His name is Tanner. I'm going to name him by name. So I'm going to tell him to watch this episode because he wants to know where this song fell. He argues that this is the best Kiss song there is. And I said, I don't know if it'll even make our top 40. And it didn't. And the song is Hard Luck Woman. The guy's a young man. I think he's 28. Says it, like I said, easily the best Kiss song. Well, I'm sorry to tell you that you're wrong. I'm somewhat surprised that it didn't make the top 40. I figured it might fall somewhere in the 30s, maybe. Nobody else wanted it, and I just kept letting it go to see if somebody would take it. It was a lead single in the 76 or off the 76 album Rock and Roll Over, the Peter Criss song that Paul wrote possibly for Rod Stewart, is what I found in some of my
No kidding.
research. Yes. And then the other song I picked, which would have fell at number 43, is Hide Your Heart. It was the first of 3 singles off Hot in the Shade. Forever and Rise to It were the other 2. You actually mentioned Rise to It.
Yep.
And stay tuned. Maybe Forever makes the cut. To me, it has a Bon Jovi type Tommy and Gina element to it. I really liked it. I didn't know this prior to my research, but that song was released in '89 by 4 different artists.
Yep.
Molly Hatchet, Ace Frehley, Robin Beck, and of course Kiss. And the year before, it was on Bonnie Tyler's album from 1988 with the same name, Hide
Holy
Your
shit.
Heart. So the guitar.
Isn't that crazy that Kiss and Ace Frehley both released the same song the same year?
I was
Yeah.
shocked by that. I thought that was really
Real.
great.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's crazy that 4 freaking artists released it
In the same
in
year.
the same year. That's insane.
And then, like I said, it was on, or did I say this already? Bonnie Tyler's 88 album. And I actually had to go listen to it to see what I thought of it. But anyway, the song has some similarity. The guitar intro has some similarities to me, to Strutter, especially on Ace's version of the songs, written by Paul Stanley, Desmond Child, and Holly Knight. Holly Knight is in the Songwriters Hall of Fame and got her break playing keyboards on Kiss's Unmasked album. She was uncredited. She was a songwriter on Aerosmith's Ragdoll, song that came out on my birthday, my 17th birthday to be exact. I can't remember which episode, but we recently had another song that we talked about that came out on my birthday. But anyway, those are my 2 songs that did not make the list. So here we go, drum roll.
Drum roll.
Kiss Top 40, Rock Resurgence Radio, with Hair Metal Guru as our special guest. Coming in at number 40 on our countdown is my pick, Come On and Love Me, from the 1975 album Dressed to Kill. I'm going to read a little quick note from Wikipedia. Come On and Love Me underperformed on the singles list and did not chart. Nevertheless, it became a favorite in concert and a regular part of Kiss's 70s performances, has retained a cult following among the ensemble's fans, and was later covered by Skid Row. This rendition can be found on B-side Ourselves. It was written by Paul and sung by Paul. I tend to pick the Paul songs, and I'm not going to apologize for that. Catchy riffs, love the sing-along chorus. My number 40. Or my number 15, I guess, or 13 pick, or whatever it was.
Yep.
But
Okay.
Okay, and then we are on to
you at
Me.
no,
Guru at 39.
Guru at
Yep. So I went with one of the newer albums after the 1996 reunion, and I got to let my dog in. And I picked the title track of the Psycho Circus album. And this album only went gold. And I remember when the band got back together in 96, it was the biggest thing in the world. That tour sold like gangbusters, sold out everywhere. It sold out Detroit's Tiger Stadium in like 43 minutes. And when they were going to put this album out, I was so pumped because I'm like, oh my God, Kiss is going to like dominate the charts. And this thing did open at number 3. But it really fell off really quickly, only went gold. So it was like, oh, I thought it was going to do so much better. The album does have some weak spots, but I think that title track is phenomenal. That building guitar intro, great song. I've always loved it. And shit, they still play, well, when they were still playing, still played it live at concerts, and probably the highlight of that 1998 reunion album, Psycho Circus, comes in at number 39.
I remember that coming out and thinking it was going to be a big deal. And it was, like you said. I remember watching them play live on Halloween night. I want to say from like Shea Stadium or something in New York.
I think it was in LA at Dodger Stadium.
Okay. I picked up that album, I think at Walmart, and it was like in a little gift box, and it came with a Psycho Circus t-shirt, and I still have it. What's in my pile of t-shirts over there. I'm not going to get it out, but yeah, that album also has is Raise Your Glasses on that album.
Yep.
I like that song too.
Another good song.
I'm going to be honest and say I've never listened to the album.
Okay.
Oh shit.
We were discussing this beforehand. I'm not a huge Kiss fan. I like all the major songs and blah blah blah. But until we started doing this, and I started, because before we did the draft, I kind of went through and I was like, okay, I remember this song. I got to listen to some of these songs because I don't know them all, and fuck, they got a lot of good shit. They do.
I think part of the thing for me is we were teenagers in the 80s, and kind of looking at 70s bands, it was like, oh, those are the old. So I listened to the Kiss 80s stuff.
Yeah,
But you know, I didn't go back and listen to old Aerosmith or old Kiss until later because you were like, well, I like the new stuff and that old Kiss, that's, you know, that's
yeah,
for my uncles and shit to listen to. And then later on you discover shit, that 70s Kiss stuff was phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's unreal. Yeah, that's the way I felt about it. I listened to the 80s stuff. I listened to, I got into them Animalize and then Asylum and then Hot in the Shade and all those ones I got into, but I didn't, and Lick It Up. But I didn't really go back, like
right.
you said, and listen to those. So this was fun.
It
This
was the both of us were born in 71. I think you're 72, 73.
72, yeah, you old fuckers.
So, so Kiss, came out with their first album in 74. I mean, I was 3. I wasn't listening to it. I think you have to I'm the oldest child in my family. And I think the guys that have older brothers that are my age, those were the guys that were huge into Kiss.
Yeah,
And I
probably.
got into it, quite a bit too I got notes, stories later, but
We know.
moving on.
Yeah. Okay, my pick coming in at what the fuck?
38.
38 is from the Lick It Up album, and it is All Hell's Breaking Loose. I'll read you just a little bit. It is a song by the American rock band Kiss that appeared on their 83 album Lick It Up. It was the second and final single released from the album and did not chart in the US. It's going to be a theme of my picks, I think. All Hell's Breaking Loose is one of 4 songs in the history of the band in which all 4 current at the time members share songwriting credit, the others being Love Theme from Kiss, the self-titled album, Finale from The Elder, and Back to the Stone Age from Monster. So, yeah, didn't chart. I gravitate towards Gene songs. And this song, just his singing, I love the guitar riff. It just starts off with a really, really cool guitar riff. And that's a lot, has to do with why I make my picks. Like if it's got a cool ass guitar riff, which a lot of their songs do, I gravitate towards those because I play guitar. That's about all I gotta say. It's just fucking good song. Lick It Up off that album. Obviously that's gonna be up in the list too, I'm sure. So that's my pick. And
Those
what's that?
those early 80s Kiss albums, Lick It Up, Creatures of the Night, Animalize,
Yeah,
they were really freaking heavy at that time.
I know they were.
A lot of heavy stuff. And then around Crazy Nights and Asylum, they started having it started getting a little poppier.
Yep.
But there was some heavy stuff on those early 80s albums.
Totally agree. Totally agree. So that's all I got to say.
So we're on to me.
Correct.
Hitting the countdown at number 37. It's off the self-titled album, and it's Firehouse. This was not a single from the 74 album, but the slower groove, memorable guitar riff, and Gene's bass line makes this Paul Stanley written. And Paul, once again, vocal song, a standout for me. I got a little excerpt, too, from Wikipedia. Firehouse was one of the first songs that Kiss performed during the band's earliest national TV appearances, including ABC's In Concert on February 19th, 1974. Aired on March 29th. The band also played the song, excuse me, on the Mike Douglas Show on April 29th, 1974, a broadcast that included Simmons' first televised interview. So one last note I have for this one, 2 last notes, I guess. The end of the countdown here, or the end of our draft, got a little hard for me. I mean, I was struggling to decide between songs, and I thought, nobody picked a song, but it's kind of it's a goodie for me. Gene would often breathe fire on stage during this song, and they'd have the red fire engine lights spinning on stage, and I can remember I've seen Kiss a handful of times probably, and I just love it live. So
Yep.
that's my pick.
Cool.
Absolutely. Okay, coming in at number 36. And man, I mean, if you're a teenager in the 80s, you gravitated towards those 80s Kiss albums. I did. I didn't really revisit their earlier stuff probably until I was in my 20s, and you started, you had a little bit of money and you're like, oh, hey, maybe I'll buy an old Kiss album instead of something new. So I loved Crazy Nights was the first album I really remember getting with my own money, the first Kiss album. And then, I went and got Asylum from 1985. So the song that comes in at number 36 is maybe one of the cheesiest fucking Kiss songs of all time. It's called All Night, but damn it, it is cheesy as shit, but it is catchy as shit. The guitar riff is phenomenal, and Paul is just at his sexual bravado fucking I mean, the 80s were kind to Paul, not so much to Gene. Gene was trying to do the makeup shit. It just didn't really work for him. Paul really looked like he was in his element, but I love the Gene songs. But All Night, that's probably a song that people would say, "Oh, dude, what are you guys doing?" But I still play that thing regularly. One of the catchiest songs I think in history.
Nice pick.
I agree 100%. It is super catchy. And yes, it is cheesy, but good.
This one you would have probably.
I would have. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. That would have been another one that I would have picked. Let's see.
Pick. We're on to number
35. Coming in at number 35 off the Hotter Than Hell album is Parasite. No, that ain't off Hotter Than Hell. That's off the debut album.
Is it?
Yeah. Isn't it?
Hold on, I'll you go ahead and talk.
Anyways, Parasite. Good freaking song. Is a song released in 74 on their second, Hotter Than Hell. So they both came out in 74. Yeah, that's right. So I seen the year and I was like, oh shit, did I fuck this up?
I did. They were very prolific.
Yeah, they had two albums in 1974. I forgot that. So it came off of Hotter Than Hell. The song is one of 3 songs featured on the album, written by lead guitarist Ace Frehley. As one of the album's heaviest songs, Parasite was performed on the following tour, but Kiss dropped it from their set list for the Destroyer tour and did not play it again until the Revenge tour in 1992. As Ace was insecure about his singing ability, he passed that duty on to Gene Simmons. In 2016, Frehley re-recorded the track with John 5 for Frehley's solo album, Origins Volume 1. It is a heavy song, and that's why I picked it. Man, I love that shit. It's one of those kick in the teeth songs.
Yeah, you like that.
I do. I like that shit. I mean, they got a lot of kind of heavy sounding riffs that just grab you. And I don't know, like, I didn't think when we started this, I would like so many of the older stuff because I hadn't listened to it in a long time. And is that working? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, it's working. Anyways, yeah,
it's okay.
It's different. So, anyways, I didn't realize I would like so many of the older songs. Like, I went back and I think my favorite album by them is probably the first album.
Yeah,
the songs on there just kick ass. That one and Hotter Than Hell, they both have some really killer songs on them.
Even in their recent tours, there's like 5 songs from the debut album still were making the set list. I mean, that's crazy.
I mean, it's insane. That's I found myself liking that more than the 80s stuff that I kind of grew up on. So that was a big surprise to me when we took this on and decided to do this. I was like,
Yeah, me too. Going back in the catalog from, like Guru was saying, growing up in the 80s, we heard Crazy Nights and we heard
Heaven's on Fire.
Yeah, Animalize and that stuff first. But going back and picking up the back, like I literally have every Kiss album they ever made on CD or cassette or both in a lot of cases, and on streaming I have everything too now, just so it's handy.
Yep.
But yeah, my favorite album is always probably going to be Destroyer. But yeah, I definitely like a lot of the 70s stuff. So
yeah, it's crazy how much I like that older stuff. Just boggles my mind. Didn't think that would be the case, but that's okay.
Parasite, number 35. Am I up with 34?
Yep.
Lighting up number 34 on our list of top 40 Kiss songs is Hotter Than Hell from the 1974 album, same one Chad was just talking about by the same name. And again, it's another Paul song on my list. He is the writer and the singer. I'm going to read a lyric real quick. She looked good. She looked hotter than hell, all dressed in satins and lace. I looked at her and it was just too clear. I had to
She had to sit on my face. No, I'm kidding.
said, lady, hey, lady, can I take you home? There's just so much we could do. So, cheesy, whatever. I love it. I love it a lot. During the TV movie Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, when they did this, the Evil Kiss performed a version of this song retitled Rip and Destroy in order to get the crowd riot going. So that's my pick. I don't have a lot to say about it. It's just it's kind of a staple. Hot, hotter than hell.
Cool.
Love it.
Those first three albums before Alive came out in 1975 didn't do all that well. You know, they weren't going gold and platinum. They were just kind of like, hey, there's another rock band out there, Kiss. So when you think of Kiss Mania in the 70s, those first three albums weren't a part of that. It was the Alive album in 75 ended up going triple platinum. That's what started the explosion. But those first three were like, it was kind of like, geez, is the record label going to keep them going? So when you look back at the history of Kiss, it's kind of surprising. These classic songs that we were talking about, it's not like they were blowing up on radio,
right?
And at the record stores. They were just kind of a little known band that built a fan base by touring like crazy.
And on the back cover of Alive, that's a black and white picture of a concert, right?
Yep.
Or out in the concert.
Guys are holding up that poster, and
yeah, that picture reminds me so much of going to shows even back in the 80s, you know, being a kid.
Yep.
It's just great.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Who's up?
We are on to my pick, and we are at number 33 in the countdown. And I think this is a song that maybe surprised a lot. I think if I hadn't picked it, it never would have come up. But it's Tomorrow and Tonight from 1977's Love Gun album. Now, I will say that even though I gravitated towards the 80s stuff, when I was in 8th grade, I worked in Wyoming, North Dakota. And my cousin, Becky, she's 5 days older than me, her boyfriend had a car with a cassette deck, and he had like 2 cassettes. He had a John Cougar Mellencamp cassette and Kiss Love Gun. So that will always be my first love, because that summer, it seems like that was the only 2 albums we ever listened to. And so I love that thing. And Tomorrow and Tonight is just utterly one of the catchiest Kiss songs. I mean, it's a Paul song, and it's a complete party rock song. I'm shocked they didn't try to make it a single. It feels like, you know, the second coming of a rock and roll all night. It's like tomorrow and tonight, we can rock all day. We can roll. Anyway, love that song. Deserved better in the history of Kiss. Comes in at number 33.
Good pick.
Good pick.
You're right. I wouldn't have picked it, but now that you got me thinking about it and I can hear it playing in my head,
Right?
why wouldn't I pick it? But
By the way, I shouldn't ever sing, but anyway.
Oh, no.
Well, yeah,
I've heard worse.
yeah, I have too. On actual albums.
You're right.
Anyways, coming in at number 32 for me is King of the Nighttime World from the Destroyer 1976 Destroyer album. It's kind of a weird song, and I didn't know this was a cover until I was researching this. I had no idea. According to KissAsylum.com, Ruben D. Fuentes, the former guitarist of relatively obscure 70s glam rock band Hollywood Stars, is streaming the original version of the song King of the Nighttime World, later recorded by Kiss. The track was originally written by Hollywood Stars manager Kim Fowley and Mark Anthony, and guitarist Mark Anthony. Kiss guitarist vocalist Paul Stanley and producer Bob Ezrin later rearranged the song when Kiss recorded it for the Destroyer album. I did not know that.
I was today years old when I learned that story because I would have never.
Yeah, there was no wiki on it, so I went to this Blabbermouth site and found that little tidbit. And yeah, it's kind of a cool song. And the one thing I'd say, this Destroyer album, I had no idea who Kiss was back in the day. And my closest sibling in age to me is my sister Roxanne, Rocky, everybody calls her. And she had the Destroyer album cover,
Right.
this big
Hmm.
album. And I'm looking at these guys going, what the fuck is that? Because I had never seen them before, you know. So um, I actually threw it on mom and dad's turntable and listened to it. And at that time, I was like, not for me, you know. But I was pretty young. I don't even remember how old I was when I did that. Probably around 80, I suppose. So I was probably 9 years old. And but anyways, getting back to this song, really kind of cool song. It's a little different. That's a Paul song, right? King of the nighttime world.
You're my headline.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Paul song. So, but yeah, it's just a cool song. There's other songs that I like better, and they'll be coming up later on people's lists, but that is a pretty cool tune. Anyways, that's all I got.
Okay.
That's probably the most, the most famous Kiss album of all time
Oh yeah,
with Beth, and it went triple platinum, I think. And
Bright
so,
Rock City, and yeah,
oh,
for sure.
God of Thunder. So yeah, usually I would expect a lot of Destroyer songs to be in a Kiss countdown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there are.
Yeah, there.
Stay tuned.
Yep,
So I'm up,
you are up.
claiming spot number 31. And
31.
Yep. And what might be a huge surprise is the song Charisma from 1979's much maligned disco album Dynasty. This is my first Gene song to make its way into the countdown. There's something I really like about this song. Charisma finds Simmons reflecting on his persona as the demon and his magnetism as a rock star. The lyrics are almost self-aware, exploring the concept of fame and the allure of his celebrity status. Lines like, "Is it my fortune or my fame? Is it my money or my name?" Yeah, Gene, money definitely plays a part, and so might your 12-inch tongue or your 7-inch leather heel. I love this tune. I don't know what it is. I just like the way it grooves. I'm going to talk about disco a little bit later because I have another song off of this album later in the countdown.
Cool.
But I'm going to leave it right there for that one.
It is up to the guru.
All right, so we just got done with Charisma. Yeah, I'll be honest though, like Dynasty and Unmasked are probably two of the albums that I was like, in the history of Kiss. Some good songs, but I do kind of like Charisma. So, okay, on to number 30. And yes, I love ballads. I was so torn because here's where I almost took Beth, but I was like, Reason to Live off the Crazy Nights album in 1987 comes in at number 30. And again, 1987, I'm 15 then. So that's, I'm falling in love with music that's coming out at that time. That's the first Kiss album that I bought. I remember sitting in my, and I always fancied myself a deep thinker, and Reason to Live is kind of a deep, almost like an anti-suicide song. So I always loved the message behind it. Super catchy. So Beth lost out to Reason to Live, but great song, comes in at number 30.
Nice.
So you're the reason it missed the list, huh?
So now this is where we start to get into the I wanted to pick that song deal.
That's right.
Oh, no.
No? Okay.
Nope. Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I got at number 29 on the list, we got 100,000 Years off of, which album is that off? That's off
The
first
debut.
debut. Yep. It's written by Gene and Paul. The bass intro is freaking awesome. Then later on in the song kind of breaks down to kind of a drum. It's not a solo, but a drum part that's really cool. I don't know. There's something about the song that just makes me happy. I'll read a little thing from Song Facts. The song begins with a bass riff by Gene Simmons. He recalled the story of the song to Classic Rock magazine. I read a book called 100,000 Years, where 100,000 years ago we were visited by aliens, he said. Also, Einstein's theory of relativity. I was reading all kinds of space and time continuance stuff, and it was all swirling around in my head. I showed the stuff to Paul, and he's going, "What? 100,000 years?" I said, "Let's just try it." And then Paul came up with some stuff, and I added the riff.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, "Yeah, let's just try it." Yeah, it turns out it's a freaking really good song.
Yeah.
So that is my number whatever and number 29 on the countdown.
Awesome.
Okay, so landing at spot number 28 in the Kiss Top 40 is my pick. Second and final song I took off the disco era, Dynasty, and one of Kiss's biggest hits, actually. I Was Made for Lovin' You. Cover of this single really lets you know that it's a disco record. I'm going to put that up on the screen, but it looks, yeah, you can tell it's a disco. I never really thought of it that way. But again, I didn't hear this song till probably later in the 80s, going back and discovering it. And it was on, it's on all their greatest hit stuff, smashes, thrashes, and hits and that kind of stuff. And I was, literally 8 years old when this came up. And there was probably a lot of catchy disco songs to my 8-year-old ear. I remember, and we even talked about this in one of the episodes of, I had a disco 8-track. I don't remember why or where it came from or who paid for it, because I was 8. It was Thank God It's Friday soundtrack or some shit like that, right? Anyway, I'm going to tell this story real quick about riding the bus to school in 79, 80, and I sat across from this girl who older than me. And I remember her name. I'm not going to name any names, though, and cause any trouble.
They called the other guy out about Hard Luck Woman.
Yeah, no, not going to do it on this one.
Right,
but she had a jean jacket on, and you remember back in the day, you had a jean jacket and you had patches on the
all
back,
over the fucking thing.
Pins if you were a chick. Well, for sure. But she had a big old pin that said "Disco Sucks." At 8 years old, I don't think I could even really comprehend what the word "sucks" means.
You were trying to find out who disco was.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few years later, I was trying to find that disco person.
Disco girl. She sounds like a slut.
If you have disco number?
Yeah. 86. So the song written by Paul, Desmond Child, once again, that guy was everywhere. Kiss fans dismissed it as a sellout. These are some notes from Wiki again. Rolling Stone magazine, which fuck Rolling Stone magazine. David Fricke writing, Kiss Army is going to mutiny when they hear I Was Made for Loving You, the disco-infected lead-off track of the Masked Marvel's latest album. They'll demand to know why their heroes, after years of rallying the troops into battle against disco and other threatening schlock, have turned tail and joined forces with uptown popsters like producer Vinnie Poncia, whose soft rock credentials include Ringo Starr, Melissa Manchester. Again, Desmond Child co-wrote the offending song with Kiss's Paul Stanley, and it goes on and on and on. Despite the backlash, the song has become a concert staple over the years with a different arrangement that de-emphasizes the song's disco elements. Gene Simmons has stated that I Was Made for Loving You is his least favorite Kiss song, and Ace Frehley and Peter Criss have also indicated that they dislike the song. But it made the list for me, and it's number 28.
Made him a lot of money.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Gene likes that.
And Gene loves it.
Undeniably catchy. I mean, you can't get that shit out of your head.
Yeah. And I was going to say, I believe that might be the first Kiss song I ever heard at my cousins, Mike and, the family. And I remember the house they lived in Rolette, which was behind one of the bars in town. And I it's just weird how your mind works like that. I just remember that song being played, and I'm almost positive that's the first Kiss song I heard, and I didn't know anything about Kiss at the time.
Yeah, and one last quick note about it was I did have this in my note. That's the third highest charting single in the U.S., and nobody else really matters to me. The other two were Forever was number 8, and Beth was number 7, being the highest single. So
Right.
let's see if they make this. Well, we already know Beth didn't make it, but
Now we're getting into the you fucker.
we're getting into the you fucker part of the segment here.
All right. Okay. Coming in at number 27. And this is the album that I think brought Kiss back from the brink. The album is Creatures of the Night. The song that comes in at number 27 is War Machine. If you want your mind blown, and I learned this, I don't know, it's been a while now, but you know who wrote War Machine?
Yeah, I knew it, but I can't remember. Brian Adams.
Brian Adams and Jim Valance, who wrote like Summer of '69, that Brian Adams.
Yeah, isn't
They
that
wrote
crazy?
some heavy metal songs, and Kiss ended up taking War Machine. And that is one of the heaviest songs in Kisstory. And if you know Kiss history, right before this Creatures of the Night album, they had done The Elder, which I'm betting we have no songs from The Elder on this list.
Not one.
They had the Unmasked album Dynasty, which were poppier, and everybody was like, "You guys got to stop that shit. You guys got to get back to rocking." They put out Creatures of the Night, and War Machine is the last track on the album. It's super heavy. It's a Gene song, and that riff will not leave your head. It's one of my favorite Kiss songs of all time. War Machine is at number 27.
That is an awesome pick, and yeah, that one I wanted.
Yeah,
That was the one
you
I-
fuck.
That was a you fucker.
Yeah,
That was my next pick, and I'm like, God damn it.
yeah. I don't know
Oh,
if
well.
you. So before this episode, for our viewers, we did just a quick, like it was a gift to my cousin who it was his birthday, and he picked an episode for us to do, and we did a Kiss top four songs, top 4 albums, top 4 Kiss members, like the best lineup. And we had talked about that song War Machine, I think, on that quick episode we did.
We did.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Okay, on to number 26 for me, coming off the Animalize album, and this is Lonely is the Hunter. A little bit about this about this song. On this Gene Simmons songs, it was felt that Mark St. John was not able to provide a suitable guitar solo for the piece. As a result, Paul made a call to Bruce Kulick and asked him to come in and do the solo. Bruce recalled recording the guitar solo for the Animalize album, which was before I actually joined the band, was a cool experience. The whole thing went really well, and after it was over, I remember Paul saying to me, "Don't cut your hair." And as soon as he said that, I figured might one day be asked to join Kiss. Bruce also recalled the situation which led to the work with the band. We won't go into that, but anyways, yeah. So he came in and did the solo for this song because Mark St. John couldn't do it or wasn't cutting it. So I thought that was kind of neat. I was like, interesting.
Right.
So I just really like the song. The album is really good. I may have one or a couple other songs, or I think one off this album, and it was kind of the one that really kind of broke for me. That I had some friends in school, the Hagnesses, that so the oldest one was Jason. He was graduating '87. Jeremy graduated in '88, and then they have a younger brother. They were huge Kiss fans, and so Jason had this, I believe, and I just remember that Heaven's on Fire beginning.
Oh my God!
And I just went, "Whoa, that is fucking awesome!" So, so then I got into the album, and I just really like this song. I don't know what it is about it. It's just kind of the groove of the song. I just like the way it sounds, the way it, I don't know, there's something about it. I mean, would that make most people's
I
top
wouldn't.
40.
I wouldn't have picked it. This
Yeah.
wasn't a
I
youth.
was pretty surprised to
Yeah,
see it
yeah.
picked. It's a good song, but
Yeah, and I just really like that song for some reason. It just catches me, and that's why I picked it. So yeah, I thought about that. I was like, this probably wouldn't make a lot of people's top 40.
Hey, it got into number 26 for us.
Yeah, and yeah, for sure. So on to you.
So,
Oh boy.
sliding into number 25, and pun fully intended, is Plaster Caster from the 77 album Love Gun. How appropriate.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. This is another Gene song. So, I did say I kind of tend more to the Paul songs. And here I got another one. But anyway, both singing and writing credits. Some tidbits from I did a little AI inquiry into the song. Plaster Caster is a song by Kiss from their 77 album Love Gun. Written and sung by Gene Simmons, the track is one of the band's more infamous songs due to its risque subject matter inspired by real-life groupie culture. And I knew this, and I haven't seen this, but there is a documentary called Plaster Caster about the gal that the songs are referencing. Her name is Cynthia Albritton. She was also known as Cynthia Plaster Caster, a groupie and artist famous for creating plaster molds of rock stars' body parts, most notably their, genitalia. So while Simmons never participated in her project, Guru's got it right there, the song was inspired by her reputation and legend surrounding her work. Side note, her most famous model is probably Jimi Hendrix. Lyrics play with double entendres and tongue-in-cheek humor fitting Gene's demon persona. Lines like, "My love is in her hands," are intentionally provocative, reflecting the playful and rebellious spirit of 70s rock. Musically, straightforward, groove-oriented, hard rock track with a mid-tempo rhythm, features a memorable bass line, a steady beat, allowing Simmons' suggestive lyrics to take center stage. Bear with me for a quick Guru-like reading of some lyrics before moving on. "Oh, things are complicating. My love is in her hands. And there's no more waiting. She understands. The plaster's getting harder, and my love is perfection, a token of my love for her collection. Plaster Caster, grab a hold of me faster, and if you want to see my love, just ask her. My love is plaster, and yeah, she's the collector. She wants me all the time to inject her. Not quite deep thoughts, but hey, it's catchy and clever, and there's not too many songs about this topic. So,
Boy, I'll say.
I love that song.
yeah, it's a catchy tune too. Just good.
Hell yes.
Oh, cool.
Anybody else got anything they want to add about Plaster Caster?
No, I think we heard enough.
All right.
I don't know. I heard.
Volunteer to go next. No, I'm kidding.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I meant to get Plaster Castered.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
My song is also next. Coming in at number 24, and here's another one off the Asylum album. Geez, when I look back at the 80s, I think the Asylum album is really underrated. It's mainly Tears Are Falling was the big hit, but I had All Night, which I love, and then this is a Gene song. It's Trial by Fire. Love the lyrics. One thing I miss about 80s songs is like that positivity that like, hey, you can overcome, you take these difficult situations and you can come out on top. Like once we get into the 90s, then it started being like, yeah, fuck, just quit. Just quit. Don't, just live at home. Let your parents worry about it. So I love that the positivity of the 80s, Trial by Fire, insane guitar riff, super catchy Gene song, positive, uplifting lyrics, and Asylum only went gold. I thought it went platinum, but Trial by Fire comes in at number 24.
Nice. We were just talking about that, about 80s songs and yeah,
how
more fun.
They were fun. They weren't dark and doom and gloom shit.
Yeah.
I mean, when I listen to music, I wanna enjoy myself. I don't want to fucking kill myself. Yeah, that was the, I don't know. Enough talking about grunge.
I mean, I do like some songs like that, But the thing that I didn't like about the grunge bands is they all had to be like that.
I know.
You know, grunge bands couldn't say, "Hey, here's a dark, depressing song," and "Hey, here's a fun, happy song," because every now and then we have a good time. No, they couldn't do that. But '80s rock could give you like the heartbreaking ballad, and then they could be like, "Hey, here's the fun party shit." So
Yeah, absolutely. I love the 80s. Speaking of positivity and positive songs, my song at number 23 is called Burn Bitch Burn.
and this is a
Piano
fuck you song. Sorry to interrupt, but I wanted this one so bad, you dick.
Love it.
You're welcome. Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I got a couple things here. So there's no, can you believe it? There's no wiki on this song.
We don't need wiki on this one.
Yeah, Burn Bitch Burn is a song by Kiss released in '84 on their 12th studio album. Animalized, the song was written by Gene Simmons. In the behind the music, Gene says the whole notion of sex is very silly for all the trouble we have to go through to get some nookie. I like that. Some of the lyrics include, it starts off, I'm going to start off with the first verse. Well, it's out of the frying pan into the fire. You're bent over, baby. Let me be the driver. Just a cut of pink. Wouldn't believe me if I told you. But this time you bit off more than you can chew. The part I like, you got to love a song where it says, let me put my log in your fireplace.
That's right.
The song that says that, I want to put my log in your fireplace, is going to make the list. That's all I got to say. It's just a kick-ass song, great riff, great everything. Gene sings it. It just a rocker, and I love it.
That opening guitar riff on that song, I think, is criminally underrated. You know, "Da-da-da-dan, da-da-da-dan." Holy shit! I love that riff, and that song is so catchy. And apparently, they only played it once in concert, and probably everybody out in the crowd was like, "Burn, bitch, burn," and then they kind of bailed on it.
Oh, come on.
Uh,
Everybody I didn't know that about that.
I would have taken that song dramatically earlier, but that was one of the ones where you're like, "Oh fuck, that's a slow white wide receiver. Nobody's gonna pick that song. I'll take it later." And no, fucking, you had to jump in. That was the worst moment of the draft for me. It was when Burn Bitch Burn went, because I would have taken it shit in my first couple picks if I would have known. So
No.
At 3 picks around, that's what, a 7th round draft choice? I mean, or down the list.
Yeah, I can't.
23 it was, right?
Yep, 23. Yep.
yeah.
All right.
So, good song.
Creeping close to making the top 20, but falling just short at 22 is the late 80s ballad from 1989's Hot in the Shade album. The song is Forever, and I unapologetically love this song. Kiss's second highest charting single, co-written by Paul and Michael Bolton.
Yep.
I love the movie Office Space for making fun of him. I don't know if you guys have seen that. The other guy's name is Michael Bolton. Anyway, must be kind of where the cheesy factor comes in, is the Michael Bolton stuff. But anyway, it's a great ballad. I do love a good ballad. I don't think it made our top ballads episode when Chad and I did a top ballads, like top 10, but it was definitely in the honorable mentions. I love the acoustic guitar intro, Paul's vocals throughout. I don't have anything more really to say about the song. Maybe it's just a guilty pleasure, and so far it's the only ballad to make the top 40, as Beth and Hard Luck Woman were both honorable mentions. So that's my number one.
Well, I consider Reason to Live to be a ballad.
Yes, you are correct.
So that was one. Okay.
Sorry.
No, shit. That was my first Kiss concert, the one that Chad was also at in '89, or it was in '90 at the West Fargo Fairgrounds with Slaughter and Faster Pussycat, and that song was hitting at that time. And so I just remember like them playing that, and the whole, all the lighters in the air. Oh, that concert was like a magical moment for me.
Yeah, I saw him in '90 as well in Bismarck at the Civic Center, and I think it was like September, but they had dropped Faster Pussycat and added Winger.
Winger.
Slaughter.
Right.
Winger,
Right.
And I think I have a story about that later. But
Okay.
anyway, where are we at?
Moving on.
Drew.
We're at number 21. And man, out of all the, like I talked about Crazy Nights being 15 and that album coming out, talked about loving Love Gun because that summer when I was in 8th grade, we heard it. But the Revenge album in 1992 was an album that I've pumped time and time again on my channel. Criminally underrated, only went gold. The lead-off single, Unholy, is my song at number 21. It is maybe the best Gene song of all time, but one of them, up there with your God of Thunders and your Burn Bitch Burns. Crazy opening guitar riff. Bruce Kulick just sounds phenomenal. Gene is the demon. It's like the first time Gene looked comfortable. You know, in the 80s, they always kind of, they're wearing those flashy. He's like, oh shit, I'm like 6'2". I look like a linebacker. But on Revenge, it was like, he had the goatee, he had the hair pulled back, wearing all black. That is the ultimate Gene song. Unholy comes in at number 21.
That was another one that I really wanted, but I took the other one right before you.
And I wanted that one too at some point.
I know. I had those both in my sights, but I could only pull one of them. And breaking
you fuckers hogged up the Revenge songs because I did have some of these in my sights, and there's a couple too that I was like, I don't know if it can make the top 40, but I really like that album too.
I do. I 100% agree with you. Criminally underrated. Yeah, that is a really good, and it's the song I'm going to talk about. Shit.
Well, even some of the cheesier stuff on there, like Take It Off's on Revenge, right?
Yes, I love that song.
Love it. Yeah, me too.
Love that song.
But anyways, breaking with our top 20. We're at the top 20 already.
We are.
We're halfway done. So coming in at number 20 is another song off of Revenge, and it is another Gene song. And it is fucking killer. It is Domino. I love this song. I got a man-sized predicament.
I love the way
and
that
it's a
starts.
big one.
Right.
Anyways, Domino is a song off the American hard rock band Kiss, released on the band's 16th studio album Revenge in 1992. The song was written by bassist Gene Simmons, and it borrows elements from the song Nasty, which Simmons had co-written and produced in 1986 with the band Black and Blue. Yeah, I knew this about that. I thought that was pretty cool because I think there was a Black and Blue album that they did on their compilation. I think they talked about some of this stuff. The song was released as a single in 1992 with the album's instrumental Car Jam 1981 and its B-side. Despite being performed on only 2 tours and during the MTV Unplugged appearance, Domino has appeared on several of the band's albums. So must be on greatest hits and compilations. Yeah. So yeah, he's Gene's sole songwriter on that one. He was trying to copy the song Deuce when composing Domino, although the song borrows much more of the song Nasty Nasty by the band Black and Blue. And then Tommy Thayer actually went on to play guitar for Kiss. He's the last guy.
That I did know.
He was the longest guitar player, I think, in Kiss history.
History.
Yeah. I believe that is correct. I'm not
the Domino video is fucking epic because Gene's driving around LA. It's at night. He's got sunglasses on. He like stops at a fast food place and he's drinking Coke and he just looks cool as shit. If you haven't seen the Domino video, go check that shit out.
Do you think he's fucking Corey Hart or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah. Cool stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'll probably cut this part out, but Chad and I just did a Brittany Fox episode where we did the first album versus Boys and Heat. And that's when you said the thing about Gene, I got a man-sized whatever. And that song, Plenty of Love. I got plenty of love. And then the background guy says, he's got plenty. Chad just busted out when we were talking about that song. It's just so stupid. He's got
Don't take that out. That's funny as shit.
okay, I'll leave it in there.
He's got
Yeah,
plenty. We've seen. We go to the bathroom together. It's okay.
yeah, right. Like the guy just who is that guy? The background singer
I
with
don't
the
know.
he's got plenty. Yeah. Anyway, so that was your number 20,
That
right?
was number 20.
Okay. So we're landing solidly at number 19 from the 1985 album Asylum. The only single from this album, Tears Are Falling. Another Paul song, in fact, solely written by Paul. Didn't quite crack the top 40. And I do remember this. It was huge on MTV's request show, Dial MTV. I know Chad wasn't big into music videos. I learned that from a recent episode.
You guys talk about videos all the time, and it's great, but I don't ever see the videos because I didn't have MTV, and I could go back and watch all these goddamn things. And, anytime I went to somebody's house that had MTV, I brought a fucking VHS tape with me and I recorded Headbangers Ball.
Yeah.
But
I never had cable TV. I didn't see videos regularly until I went to college in the fall of 1991. And that was the first year that MSU got cable in the dorms. So we actually got to sit and watch music videos. So I didn't see videos until then.
yeah.
MSU, Morehead State?
Morehead State University.
Yep.
I went there for 1 year
Gotcha.
and drank my way out of it quickly.
Yep. Me too, at NDSU.
Yeah.
I have a feeling mine was probably more expensive than yours.
So here's another, according to Wikipedia, despite the low production values of Tears Are Falling video, and I didn't think that, I guess, but it was heavily played on MTV's Dial MTV phone video request show for several months until a new ruling stated that the requested videos had to be only a few weeks old to qualify. Like I said, I didn't really think about it being low quality, but I sure remember the pink jacket Paul was wearing and the neon green gloves with the frills.
Oh, I remember that.
So this is
some reason.
deep entrenched into the 80s hair scene in 1985.
The glam.
Yep. And Gene, another point about the video, Gene with his little raised, I can't do it, the raised eyebrow thing that was later stolen by The Rock, from
Oh, yeah.
wrestling. My cousin Robbie could do that shit. He was kind of my partner in crime when it came to these hair bands, and he introduced me to bands like Kicks, Doc, and he's the guy that I talked about. We did a little short Kiss episode for.
Yeah.
You know him, and Guru doesn't know him, but anyway, he introduced me to bands like Kicks, Doc, and Badlands, Lillian Axe. Like I said, smack dab in the middle of the 80s. A great time for me growing up, and probably why it ranked so high on my list, because I loved Kiss at this time a lot. I loved this song.
Yeah.
So.
That was going to go fairly quickly if you didn't take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of mine that I wasn't brokenhearted like I was.
It wasn't quite a you fucker deal,
No, it
but
wasn't quite, but it was like, God damn it. So,
just the goddamn it.
yeah, just a goddamn it.
Okay.
So,
All right. We're at number 18 and going back to Revenge. Now we have 3 of the last 4 songs have been off the Revenge album, which I think speaks to how great that freaking thing is. And I could have had Take It Off, like you said. That would have been another one that I could have put on this list. But it's shit. This was a single. I just wanna fuck. I just wanna fuck. I just want to forget you. I mean, oh my God, we used to love singing that at parties.
yeah.
What an opening. He's like, I got a body built for sin. Anyway, shit. I thought that thing should have been a massive hit. And I love that entire album. And that is maybe my favorite song on the album. I Just Wanna is at number 18.
Yeah, it's catchy as shit. And drafting, that song came up, and I'm like, okay, we're starting Revenge songs are starting to go. I thought I had a little more time when I picked that number 19 and got Tears Are Falling, but then 20 and 21, bam, bam, Revenge.
Yeah.
And then it was too late. I missed out.
Well, when I picked I Just Wanna, and then Chad picks Domino. And then I was like, fuck. So I went with Unholy right away because I was like, oh, I could see we're on a Revenge
Yeah.
run. So I better grab the revenge shit as soon as I can. So I think that was my thinking when he picked Domino. I was like, I better get another one.
I was
Yeah, well, I kind of thought that when you picked I Just Wanna, I was like, oh, revenge, kind of early. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was like,
better get one.
yep. And I really like that Domino song. So, but I like Unholy just as much. But Domino just the, bam, 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 bam,
If you look right behind me on my wall, you'll see some frame stuff, and there's the Revenge 1992 ad,
yep,
along with Warrant Dog Eat Dog, Poison, and Cinderella Long Cold Winter. So
cool, 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 cool. We're on to
17.
yeah, we're on to 17 with me, and coming in at number 17, we got a little song called Black Diamond off their debut album, and it's another. This one's written by Paul, but I think it's sang by Gene, right? If I'm correct. Diamond. I gotta think. But anyways, I love this song. It's written by Paul Stanley. Black Diamond was written almost exactly as it is, he said, except that the riff wasn't there. Gene Simmons brought that part in. It's all about arrangement and embellishment. That's what you're supposed to do in a band. Come and add something, but that doesn't mean you wrote the song. And it was kind of funny. I was reading something by these guys, and there was times when Gene would add something into a song, or Paul would add something into the song. And I remember specifically Gene added something, and when it came to credits, he said, "No, you. I just added that little bit." He goes, "I didn't." He goes, "It was about brotherhood. We were brothers back then." And he said, "That little bit that I added, I don't need credit for that. You wrote most of it." So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I got a little note kind of like that along those same lines later in the countdown too.
Yeah. So
I know. Paul sings the opening part. There's a
yep,
really
yep,
slow part
yep,
out on the street, and then Peter Chris comes in when he goes hit it, and then Peter Chris starts singing
yeah,
after that, and then
yeah,
I can't remember if Paul comes back in or not, but
yeah. That's right. Peter Chris
so
sings this. I remember that because I was just listening to this as I was making my notes, and I was listening to it. I'm like, God, that ain't Gene.
Yeah, you hear it, you think in your head, it feels like.
It feels like Gene
Yeah.
because it's deeper, like his voice. And then
yep.
I had to look, and I went, oh yeah, Peter Chris sang this, and I like it. I like his voice. It sounds
He has a really good rock voice. I mean, later on it was like he did Beth and he did Hard Luck Woman.
yep.
But man, when they were doing like up tempo rock shit that he got to sing, that's where I thought he sounded the best, like on this song.
That's right. Peter Chris sang this, and yeah, he did a fantastic job. I like that song a lot. Um, there's another one off the debut, and I think there's more to come. So,
Yeah.
Well, he sang on the one of my earlier tracks, Nothing to Lose.
yep,
That like everybody sang on that, but he sounds great on that song too.
that was another song that I was like, I wish I'd have picked that one earlier.
Right.
After we picked all these things, I went back and listened to some more, and I was like, God, that Nothing to Lose song's a good song. I
Yeah.
wish I would have picked that one. So, anyways, Black Diamond, number, what was that?
17.
17. Okay, we're on to Birdie.
Taking the 16th spot in the countdown from the 1987 album Crazy Nights is the leadoff single, Crazy, Crazy Nights. One of those songs released as a single before the album came out. That's kind of seemed like pretty customary that they did that back then, and maybe they still do it that way. I don't know. Although I don't think with streaming, albums aren't really a thing. It doesn't seem like anymore. But anyway, it didn't crack the top 40 here, but went all the way to number 4 in the UK for some reason. Another Paul song from the 80s lineup of Paul, Gene, Bruce Kulick, and Eric Carr. Love the way it starts out with the woo.
Yep.
Here's a little song for everybody out there. The guitars are great. It's catchy. It's a great live song. With the "These Are My People" and "This Is My Crowd." Definitely trying to fit into the hair metal scene again in the 80s and the commercial sound. Whatever you want to call it, I call it number 16 on the Kiss Top 40.
Nice.
I like I said, that's an album that one of the first albums that I gravitated to, but looking back on it, it's really keyboard heavy. And I still like it, but I think it would have sounded much better if some of those keyboard parts would have been guitar riffs. I think it would have made that album just a little bit better and tougher than what it ended up being. But I still love it.
This song became a staple on the bus when we went to
Ball games.
games and stuff. I always had me or Jade Johnson. Either one of us had the music playing, and that was a very popular song with everybody. Even the girls liked that song.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah, it's funny that you talk about that, and I can remember going to football games or basketball games, and that was a big deal to have the guy in the back with the boom box and the
shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when Appetite for Destruction came out, and you had to turn it down every time they fucking swore. It was like every 3 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Depends on who the bus driver was,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Well, the bus driver was the coach we were kind of worried about.
Yeah.
Fuck the bus driver.
Yeah, you didn't want to end up on the bench because you
Yeah.
played some naughty words on the bus.
Yeah.
But
So-
anyway,
All right, coming in at number 15 is from that 1982 album. I already chose War Machine from it. It's the title track of the Creatures of the Night album. Again, the album that I think brought him back from the brink and said, hey, you can compete with the Scorpions and the Judas Priests and the heavy metal bands that were happening at that time. And Creatures of the Night, that opening guitar riff, phenomenal. And it's a Paul song, but it's one of the heaviest Paul songs you were going to get in a Kiss song. And even though that album only went gold, it's still like, it was like their rock fans were like, okay, I think they're back. So Creatures of the Night, number 15.
Yep. I really, really dig that album. It's a really good album.
Yep.
yeah,
And the cover is fucking cool. Just looks cool. That blue and their eyes are white. And
Right.
Yeah.
mean. I like it.
Yeah.
Did they have a couple of different covers for that album? I feel like there was
Yes.
different covers.
Because it came out during the makeup years, but then there was 2 different covers. I can't remember how. I thought there was one where
There's one without makeup where the guys are on it, but I could be wrong.
That's the last album with makeup before Lick It Up, right?
Right. They did have on the tour. Well, I didn't go to it, but this is where I was talking about like my cousin who had older brothers. When I went to his house, he had Kiss, albums, not like, the original albums. And I know they were from his brother because he wasn't buying any albums, but Kiss knickknacks all over the place and all other kind of weird knickknacks.
Toilet paper.
Yeah, well, anyway, this is the first concert he went to was on that Creatures of the Night tour, and he's maybe a year or 2 older than me, but his brothers are 5 or 6 or 7 years older than him, which they would have drug him, or they probably mom made us take Robbie to the concert, I guess. And we got to take, but that was would have been quite a great experience for a kid.
His brother isn't the guitar player for Tequila Rocks, right?
It was, yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Randy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
I'm looking at Google and yeah, so there's the makeup cover with Ace, Eric, Paul, and Gene, but then there's a non-makeup cover with Bruce Kulick on the cover. And I think even though he wasn't in the band, he probably played a lot of the guitars on that album, because there was times where Ace and Peter were barely playing on shit, even though they were in the band. So there's a non-makeup cover as well that I think came out later. So anyway, that's the cover deal.
Played on Lick It Up, Bruce?
No, that was Vinnie Vincent.
No, on Creatures. On Creatures, even though Bruce wasn't in the band technically until Asylum, but a lot, Bruce and Bob Kulick played on a lot of those early Kiss albums.
No kidding.
So
It's crazy.
Is it kind of the same? I'll look it up later, but it's like the same configuration, just without the
not
makeup.
really.
No, okay.
Completely different. And I remember seeing, that cover with no makeup on it. Yeah, it's a strange deal.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say when you do the video, you could.
Yeah, I'll pop them in.
Yep.
Pop them in there. See them. Who's up?
Whoever's at 14.
Me.
That's me.
That's me. Number 14 from Rock and Roll Over. It is Calling Dr. Love. They call me. They don't call me that.
No.
Just. But
He's
anyways,
got plenty.
Yep, that's came out in 1976. The live version of the song was included on Live 2, released in 77. Since then, Calling Dr. Love has appeared on numerous Kiss compilation albums. In 23, it appeared on Kiss's fifth live album, Kiss Symphony Alive 4. Why does it say fifth? Oh, fifth live album. Why is it called Alive 4? According to Wikipedia. Makes sense.
There was a live 1, a live 2, a live 3. Then there was the symphony, and that was a live 4. I don't know that there's another one.
Yeah, Wikipedia is an idiot. It says appeared on Kiss's fifth live album, and then it says Kiss Symphony Alive 4. Yeah, good job, Wiki.
Well,
Yeah, it was written by bassist Gene Simmons, who sings lead vocals on the song at a Holiday Inn in Evansville, Indiana. What? Does that make sense? That's what it says. Anyways,
you take better notes next time.
Well, I'm just reading Wiki. The song title came from Simmons' recollection of the Three Stooges film Men in Black, which contained a hospital intercom announcement calling Dr. Howard.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So that's what that's all about. But yeah, really good song. God, they got to play that live every time, don't they?
Yeah.
It's a good tune.
Yep.
They call me. I'll quit singing. Anyways, that's my song at number 14, I believe it was.
Right on.
Okay.
Knocking on the door of the top 10 at number 13 and starting my strong finish of 70s Kiss classics from the 77 album, Love Gun, I Stole Your Love. First song on the album, and in 77, it was the first song on their set list. Well, guess what? When I went to the Hot in the Shade tour in 1990, guess what the first song on that set list was too? I Stole Your Love. And it's because it's a powerful way to immediately captivate the audience. Fast pace, explosive riff, dynamic vocals, natural choice to open a show. So it held up from 77 all the way to Hot in the Shade. And I just love the song, and I'm so glad I got to pick it. I don't know if this would have made it farther down the line for you guys.
No, because I wanted it.
Oh,
and I was upset when you took it.
So happy I took it, and I'm so happy I got to pick it because I just love it. And I remember, I think you said the first Kiss show you saw was Hot in the Shade, and I think it was for me too. But I remember getting down right up to the front row, and this song kicks in at the beginning of the show, and I was just like, I don't know if I had ever heard the song yet at that point in my life. But I was like, I immediately had to go find it and listen to it, as soon as the show was over, because it just struck me.
Yeah. I think the Jamestown show was my first one, Asylum. Pretty sure.
You lucky
number 13.
13, and it's on the Guru then, I think.
So coming in at number 12 is the first sighting of Ace Frehley on vocals. And we kind of talked about, he wrote some of the earlier songs, but he did not feel comfortable with his singing voice. I think it was until this song in 77 on the Love Gun album. Somebody correct me in the comments. I don't think he sang on Rock and Roll Over, which came out in 76. And I'm pretty sure he didn't sing on Destroyer or the first 3 albums. So he comes out with Shock Me in 77 on Love Gun. That comes in at number 12. And man, I mean, and I will say this, Ace can sound good on record, but if you see him live, you understand why he doubted his singing abilities, because he's not a very good singer. I mean, it's kind of like me singing, like you're more just shouting shit out. And it's still cool. And I love this song. I think it's got a super catchy riff. He sounds great on it. So I don't want to shit on Ace. I have actually seen Ace solo in Fargo, and he's actually coming to the Shooting Star Casino in Monoman in like 3 weeks, and I really think I want to go, because how many more times are you going to be able to see Ace Frehley? But Shock Me comes in at number 12.
What's funny, upon doing some of this research, I read a thing about Ace singing, and he didn't like to sing. So on one, he laid on his back in the room and sang on his back, and he had the producer turn down the lights so he couldn't see him.
Really?
Yeah,
Like in the studio we're talking? Yeah.
yeah,
So maybe
I-
this song?
maybe. I can't remember what song it was, but yeah, I was like, that's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
an interesting story.
Even on his first couple Fraley's Comet solo albums, he would sing a few songs. But Todd Howarth, a guitar player, also sang. So it's not, Ace didn't sing all of the album songs because I mean I think they kind of knew like, hey, it's going to be difficult in the late '80s to get an Ace Frehley song on the radio because he didn't have that pretty voice. He wasn't going to give you that big soaring ballad, so they had another dude sing a lot of the songs.
That Rock Fucking Soldier song is kick ass.
Right?
I just had to throw that in there.
Sure.
I'm more of a New York groove kind of guy.
I like that song too.
But this was a you fucker song for me. I didn't think it would go so high, but I really wanted to pick that song. too.
Well, I think Guru right away said, "Man, you guys are taking the '70s shit right away."
Yeah, okay.
Remember that?
And so there was a little run on the 70s stuff. And
Yeah.
Yep.
So, my next song, if I were doing a top 10 myself, this song would probably be number 2.
Okay.
It is Cold Gin off the debut album. I absolutely love this song. It's about drinking, man. Fuck. And when I first heard it, and matter of fact, we played it in one of the bands. I think it was, yeah. But it was fun to play because it's got that part.
Yeah, was this
Yeah.
was this the Nasty Habits? that
Yeah. Well, it was actually a version of yeah. I can't remember. It might have been named something different before that, and I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But anyways, just a great song. Is written by the band's lead guitarist Ace Frehley. Was released on the '74 album. Guitar World listed Cold Gin as number 7 on their list of greatest drinking songs. It is number 14 on Liquor.com's list of top 15 drinking songs, and it ranked number 32 of the 50 best drinking songs on Timeout.com.
So even though you're sober, fella, now you still like the drinking songs?
Fuck yeah.
Okay. I really like this one too.
I mean, man, have a drink on me.
Yeah.
Fuck. I mean, come on. It's just a super good song, and it's super catchy. The lyrics are great. I would read you some, but I don't have it pulled up or anything. But yeah, around the corner at the liquor store.
Yeah, right.
I love it.
When I didn't know this song really until I was in college. And I had a roommate who lived Kiss. So we're drinking one night and we drove out somewhere and kind of parked and sat and drank and listened to music. This is at Valley City State. And he plays this song and I'm like, holy fuck. Where has this thing been all my life? That opening guitar riff. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway, I bet we listened to the song 10 times in a row. We're just wasted sitting out this car out like on top of a hill in Valley City, listening to Cold Gin over and over and over. It's like a memory that I'll never forget.
I just had a memory unlocked right there too when you're talking about that. I had never tasted gin before.
Oh,
and I
it's horrible.
literally, right.
Horrible.
It tastes like you're drinking a fucking Christmas tree. That's just my opinion of
It's
it.
shit.
But because of this song, we had to get a bottle of it just to see what it was.
Let me guess, Bombay.
I don't remember, but I know I put it on ice, so it was cold gin.
Yeah.
Hey, probably not Bombay because the cheapest stuff is all I need.
Right. That's right.
Another alcohol that tastes like shit is scotch.
Yeah.
You ever had that? It
Yes.
tastes like you licked a fucking charcoal log.
Dirty Penny.
And
A
not
charcoal. I thought you were going to say a charcoal butthole.
oh, dirty penny.
Like, I've never seen a charcoal butthole, but I guess I probably wouldn't lick it. Maybe you would.
I mean, Limp Biscuit, chocolate starfish and hot dog flavored water.
Yeah.
To drink. Yeah.
Ugh.
Gross.
Anyway,
Anyways,
moving on.
Hey, we're at the top 10.
Are we?
Top 10. We need a drum roll. That's as good as it
Sorry. Is it my turn?
Yeah, shit, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is my turn. All right. Breaking into the top 10, here's where I have a song from the 76 album, Rock and Roll Over. And it's I Want You. Like my number 13, the live performance of this song makes it a winner for me. I'm going to go off script or off my notes real quick. And at the show where I said I heard I Stole Your Love for the first time, the encore was this song, and then another, Rock and Roll All Night was the other song. But this, when they came out for their encore, they played this song. I've only seen them a handful of times, but 14 years after it appeared on the album, they're playing it as an encore on the Hot in the Shade tour. Another Paul song for me. Tend to like the Paul songs I've mentioned. I love the way it starts. In the morning, I raise my head, and I'm thinking of days gone by. And the thing I want out of life, and then it just builds and builds and builds, and then here come the I want yous. And it just continues. You can run, you can hide, but you can never get away. You can lie and deny, but you know you're going to pay. You never loved, you never thought you could. Treat you right, girl, you know I would. You can fight, but tonight there's nothing you can do. I want you. I want you. Baby, 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 I want you. I love it. That's my number 10.
Cool.
Awesome. I don't know if I would have picked that one, but now when you're like saying that, I'm like, shit. Yeah, that's a really fucking good song.
Yeah,
Huh.
I thought it probably would have. I wanted to make sure I got it, so I probably picked it a little higher than it needed to be, maybe for our list. But
Okay.
I wanted to have it.
All right. Coming in at number 9. And this is probably the song that Gene Simmons is most known for. It's God of Thunder off the Destroyer album from 76. It's played at every Kiss concert. This is where he does the bass solo and spits the blood and gets carried up. And surprisingly, for such a dark and doomy song, written by Paul Stanley.
Yeah.
And Paul Stanley had planned on singing it, but Bob Ezrin, the producer, was like, and he had final say. That was the thing about hiring Bob Ezrin, is when there was disagreements, Bob Ezrin could say, and the band had to agree. And he was like, nope, that's a Gene song. It's a fucking demon song. Gene's the demon. So Gene Simmons got a Paul Stanley song, and it's his signature song. So dark, doomy, and maybe the song Gene's best known for. It comes in at number 9.
Love
Awesome. That was another pick that I really, really wanted, but
Another
can't have
you
everything.
fucker deal.
You can't have these good looks and all your picks that you want.
Is that what it is?
Yep, something like that.
So here's where we had coming up on the countdown, a trade. Like when you have a draft and you have a.
But we're not going to do that.
We're not?
No.
I have the notes on this song.
Remember, you're going to do Strutter.
Well, okay. I'll just say a few things about this when you're
Okay.
done talking about
Well,
it.
I don't have any notes on this song either, so
All right.
big deal. We're keeping the
Fuck it.
Okay.
draft. We're keeping it real.
Keeping it real.
No
but
trade.
There was a trade.
I should have taken my song that you picked at number 4 earlier. That's my fault. My bad. So coming in at number 8 is a song off Destroyer called "Do You Love Me," and Chris is going to tell you a bunch of notes about it. I just want to. This song is so funny. Just to read the lyrics, because in it, I'm not going to do it justice, because you have to hear the song to understand. It just goes, "You really like my limousine. You like the way the wheels roll. You like my 7-inch leather heels and going to all the shows. But do you love me?"
Yeah.
And it's just catchy as shit. when he says that 7-inch and pauses, I mean, that just makes the song. It really does. And it goes on, and it's just a really catchy song. And you got to check it out, man. It's off the Destroyer album, 1976. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I love all the innuendos in the tune, and I was going to read those lyrics, and I was so happy I was going to call it Deep Thoughts with Paul Stanley, and I was so excited to read the lyrics.
I'm sorry, you can read
No, it's good. Yeah, I wanted to get that song, and so I won't spoil it, but later in the countdown chat said, I really wanted to pick that song. Would you mind if I talked about it when we get to it? And then, okay, yep, and I'll trade you that for this song, Do You Love Me? But I love it. I think it's comes off what I think is their best album, the 76 Destroyer. Anyway.
Yeah, it's really super catchy.
I would have definitely taken that at some point. It's a great song.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the song that I picked to pop in at number 7, lucky number 7, is Love Gun from the 77 album with the same name. Single came out on 7/31/77. A lot of damn sevens in this song. In addition to singing and playing rhythm guitar, Paul actually played bass on this song too, which I did not know. Apparently it wasn't uncommon for members to play other instruments. They played instruments outside their usual roles quite a bit if they felt it served the song. And I did say the name of the song, right? Love Gun?
Yeah.
Yep.
Thought maybe I goofed up there for a minute. Anyway, Paul claimed in several interviews since its release that it's one of his favorite Kiss songs, offering the opinion that Love Gun is quintessential Kiss and is probably one of the 5 signature essential Kiss songs. Unfortunately for us, or maybe fortunately, it only good enough to make number 7 on the countdown. So
I really wonder what they're talking about, this Love Gun thing.
Yeah. Yeah, what is that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know.
they
Maybe
want.
we should look it up on Wikipedia.
Urban Dictionary.
Oh,
Maybe
no.
Charlie knows. This is Charlie, my dog.
Yes.
So she's very famous on YouTube. She's very nice. She's very pretty. Yeah. So
Very pretty.
I wanted Love Gun. I'll be honest. That's one of my favorite freaking songs from the 70s. And it hurt when you took it. So fuck you.
If you have some more to say about it, please add on.
No, I mean, it's just that and I Stole Your Love were the two that went in this area that I was like, oh shit. But I mean, it's the top 10. You're gonna get the best songs, and so that was one of them. But
I stole your song.
yeah, you stole my song and my love.
Oh,
You fucker. Give it back. Yeah. Hey, I sleep. People talk, you stole my love, but hey, she's got 8 tits, so I'm not missing out on anything. Take that. Okay. Coming in at number 6, were we done on Love Gun?
Yep.
Okay. Coming in at number 6, and part of my strategy, at least when I saw where we were going at the beginning, is I wanted to get my favorite 80s songs. So I snatched up Lick It Up at number 6 from the title track from the Lick It Up album. We just did we did some sort of video. It was we did one on songs that we never need to hear again, and then we did one on songs that we hate from bands that we love. And Brian from the Hairband Basement, Lick It Up was one of his songs that he hated from a band that he really liked. And then I think Lick It Up showed up on these songs that I never need to hear again. I was just shocked. I love Lick It Up. I think it's one of the most insanely catchy songs. That simple, I love simple guitar riffs. I'm a fan of that, so I don't need all that finger busting bullshit. That's why I like the simple. And Lick It Up is just insanely catchy, and I've always loved it. Comes in at number 6.
Yeah, those guys don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
No, right?
It's a great song.
And idiots. Why do I have them on my channel?
I don't know.
They're great. We love watching them.
And that opening line, don't want to wait till you know me better. Anyway.
Very
Hey, I
good.
wonder what he's talking about licking up.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh, love
maybe we should Wikipedia it. Yeah.
Loving life.
Anyway, that's right.
Yeah. Well, we are cracking the top five.
All right.
Top fucking five. Can you believe it?
Finally getting to
We're
getting to
getting
the
there.
nitty gritty.
And you know some good songs are coming up. And
yeah.
I am bringing in number 5 with I Love It Loud from Creatures of the Night. Oh my God. I don't know what you can say about this song. It's just so good. The drums in the beginning just hit so loud. It just sounds so huge and monstrous. It just, oh. Okay, song is by Kiss, obviously, released on their 82 album Creatures of the Night. It has proven to be a staple of the band's show, being performed on almost every tour the band has done aside from the reunion show and Psycho Circus tours. The track was written by bassist Gene Simmons and guitarist Vinnie Vincent, although some versions of the album mistakenly credit Paul Stanley and Vincent. The latter had been working with songwriter Adam Mitchell when he discovered that Mitchell had connections to Kiss, and Vincent made it a point to meet Simmons through Mitchell. After the meeting, exchanging phone numbers, the two got together and wrote I Love It Loud in addition to another song called Killer, which also appeared on Creature's album during the same writing session. So it was Gene and Vinnie Vincent.
Yeah.
Vinnie Vincent's a weird character.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Crazier than a football bat.
Football bat.
Yeah, he's just a weird guy, but I Love It Loud. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, there's something about the way the song. Yeah.
And you get those, yeah. I mean, those gang vocals, that's super catchy.
Oh my God.
The drums. I think Eric Carr on that album, Creatures of the Night, the drums are amazing. And I'm usually not a guy who thinks about the drums, but every now and then an album comes out and you're like, holy shit, the drums are freaking amazing.
Did you hear that? Like the
What's that?
94 album? The drums are just huge in that one.
On the 92 album, Revenge?
No, Motley Crue 94.
Oh, yeah. The Motley Crue 94 album, Tommy Lee. That's probably his best drumming album. Holy shit.
I know.
Totally.
They're huge. I love it when the drums are huge like that. It just sounds so good.
Yep.
Big time on that song. So now coming in at number 4, this is where...
This is the song I wanted.
This is the song we wanted to make a trade for. And so I didn't make any notes on it, but this would have been my second pick. So one of my favorite Kiss songs coming in at number 4 on the countdown, and it's off their first album. Actually, it was their third single ever, a song called Strutter. I don't have any notes on it. Do you have notes on it?
I have.
I'm going to just talk about it a little bit.
Go ahead.
I did read this somewhere about.
I just have Wikipedia.
Yeah, Paul Stanley wrote it, and Gene Simmons together. It was one of the few songs they wrote together. I remember reading this somewhere else about a song that he had called Stanley the Parrot.
Yeah.
And
I remember hearing that too.
Yeah. So they, anyway, changed up some of the lyrics and just the song. I love the way the guitar starts, and I did mention it in that other song that I was talking about where the guitar kind of sounds like Strutter.
Oh yeah. I remember.
It was one of the newer ones. Anyway.
Yeah.
Just the way the song is sung too. I know a thing or two about her, and then I know she'll only make you cry. She'll let you walk the street beside her.
Yeah.
I don't know. Strutter, my second pick, so like I said, it's going to be one of my favorite songs. I'm caught with my pants down a little bit, not having notes on it.
I'm sorry.
But no, that's okay.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 4, if you got some more to add to it.
I just, the reason I wanted to make the trade was this is another song that we used to play in a band, and it's my favorite Kiss song. And I don't know why. The reason I didn't pick it right away, because I didn't think it would go that freaking quick.
Yeah.
And I picked another song, which is another good song. But if I were to, a matter of fact, the song that I picked would probably be, if I ranked it, what did I have it ranked? I had it number 4, the song I actually picked, my second pick, or my first pick. So I kind of dropped the ball. But Strutter is probably my all-time favorite Kiss song. I love everything about it. I love the guitar work in it. I love the lyrics. Everything is good. The way it's sung. Yeah, it's just a well done song.
I remember it being on double platinum too, and it was like I don't know if they changed
Brother
it.
78.
Right. Was it a lot different than the other
Oh,
version?
not really. I didn't think.
I didn't think so either, but
So, yeah. So I mean, go ahead.
I was just gonna, but that was, you had to game plan. Like I took songs at different, I didn't just say, okay, what's my next favorite Kiss song? It had to be like, okay, well, I know I love this song, but I think that one will be around later. So
Yeah.
I might have picked a song that I liked a little bit less because I was thinking, well, those guys might want it.
Right.
So I got to pick this one now. And I mean, just like Burn Bitch Burn, I was like, well, nobody's ever going to pick that. I'll get that somewhere down the line. Well, I fucked up. You
Yep.
fucked up by not taking Strutter.
Strutter at number 4
Yeah.
had Chad all fucked up.
It did, and it's okay. It is what it is. If I had first pick, I probably wouldn't have picked it first because I figured it would be around a little longer. I didn't know that Strutter was that big.
Yeah, you had a chance at 2,
I had a chance at 2
you didn't.
and I didn't take it.
and it might deserve to be that high on a list.
Yeah, and for some reason, I just didn't think Strutter was that huge of a song for
I
every.
agree. I love Strutter, but I thought it would go in the 20s.
Yeah.
Or maybe even
Yeah, I
the
thought
early
it went
30s.
down the line a little bit.
My introduction to sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I thought it would have had a chance at it the next pick, and yeah, I was wrong.
When so I'm pretty sure like Lick It Up was probably one of the first introductions to Kiss, that album for me. Like it wasn't Creatures of the Night for me, it was Lick It Up, Animalize. But when I went back into the catalog, the first album I picked up was double platinum. And I didn't even know it at the time buying it, but it's basically a greatest hits album from 74 to 78, and you think, well, that's not very much time, but they probably had, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but they probably had 6 or 7 albums before that. They were very prolific putting out tunes. And I like it. Obviously it would have been higher than it was. My second pick coming in at number 4, Strutter. Now we're on to the top 3.
Mm-hmm.
This is our first pick we had to pick in the draft, and
this is our first pick.
Yep, and I'll let Guru take it.
Okay, so coming in at number 3, and again, my strategy at number 6, I took Lick It Up. At number 3, I took Heaven's on Fire, which I think are the 2 most popular Kiss 80s songs.
For sure.
And I do love those songs, but I was thinking that you guys we're channels that talk about 80s rock. I'm like, I got to snatch these things up because I was pretty sure you guys went, we just had Strutter. We had at number 7, Love Gun. At 8, Do You Love Me? You guys were going really heavy 70s, which I don't blame you. You took amazing songs, but I knew I wanted Heaven's on Fire and Lick It Up. So I took Heaven's on Fire with my first choice. And is that my favorite Kiss song of all time? It might be. But I picked it right away because I thought they're going to snag this thing. And I really, really want it.
Yep. Like you said, the strategy you have to have going into it. And yeah, I dropped the ball, and it's happened to all of us in this pick, except for Chris. I don't think he.
Well, I got to pick first, and at the end when I dole out the number 1 song and the Kiss Top 40 here, I'm gonna ask you guys what you would have picked at number 1. And see
I already told you what I had to pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Okay.
I wouldn't have because I thought it would last longer. I would have made the mistake.
But if you would have, oh yeah, I see what you're saying. But you
2020, I would pick Strutter.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But
Strutter's your number one song.
Starter's my favorite Kiss song. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Well, then I won't have to ask you. We know.
Yep,
And you said it already too, and I just kind
yeah.
of spaced it out.
but like you said, if I had number one pick going into it, I wouldn't probably pick Starter because I thought it would be there on my second or third pick.
Yeah, it was kind of a fun way to do it, and
It is.
you made a really good point about, you know, being hair metal guru, and our show is predominantly, you know, talking about 80s hair metal.
Yeah.
You'd think we would have gravitated more towards the 80s Kiss, and we did to start with. I mean, I did. And then when going back into the 70s catalog for me, where I found all these gems.
And I had the opposite thought that, you know, all these old 80s or all these older songs they're big songs. So I'm like, they're going to take all those, you know, because, you know, I mean, I just thought, well, and you did take, you know, whatever at number one. So I thought the older ones would go quicker. That's why I was kind of going that way. But anyways, what are we at?
Your number two, or your number one pick, but our number
two song.
Countdown.
And that pick is Detroit Rock City off of Destroyer. Love the song, but like I just mentioned, you know, if I were ranking my top Kiss songs, Strutter would have been number one and Detroit Rock City would have been number 4.
Right.
But I took this one early because I thought it's a very, very prominent song in their catalog. It's a huge song for them, and I thought this is going to go right away, so I figured I better take it. And that's why I did that. I got to read this on, I thought this was really cool. Stanley explained the song's origin further in 2023. So this is just a couple of years ago. Stanley said this: Detroit Rock City is an interesting one because Detroit really embraced us before any other city. We were an opening act everywhere else, but in Detroit, we were a headliner. It started as a tribute to Detroit and then kind of took a left turn because we played Charlotte once and somebody coming to the arena was killed in an accident. And I thought, how bizarre that somebody on their way to something so life-affirming loses their life. So there's a juxtaposition, I don't know what that really means, in the song about singing about how great Detroit is and actually about someone going to the show who doesn't make it. So I thought that was really cool. And, you know, that, I mean, the fact that I ended up picking that, I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
I had no idea about that.
No.
And I read that and I went, that's really cool that they wrote a song about that.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, in the beginning of the song is you hear that that car going and then the car crash and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I said this on our short episode that we did for Robbie, that I could do without the 30 seconds of that car shit at the beginning.
Right.
I had no idea about this when we did that.
Yep.
So I get it now. I understand it. Therefore, you know,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really cool.
And juxtaposition. Fortunately, we have an English teacher on our show right here.
Yeah, what the fuck is that? I've never heard that before. Juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Where is it used again?
It says, so there's a juxtaposition in the song about singing about how great Detroit is and actually about someone going to the show who doesn't.
Yeah, there's all this great part, but then on the other side, there is a negative part. So there's two positions that are kind of the opposite.
Okay.
If I pretty sure.
You got it.
Okay. Yeah, I just never heard that before or seen that.
Juxtaposition.
Yeah, weird. That's a good name for a band.
Hell yeah.
So
another one is ass slamming amp assassins. Did you guys watch the episode on the Dream Band?
No, I didn't.
I watched it.
Let me just really and you can cut this out if you want. We made our dream lineup, picked bass, drums, 2 guitarists, and a singer, and then we had to come up with band names. So on X, if you're a premium member, you get Grok, which is like answers any question. That's what created my hair metal guru logo that I use. And I was like, hey, Grok, name me a hair metal band. And it named one, and it was, whatever. And then I just kept saying, be more vulgar, make it nastier. And it just kept, and at the end, there was like, fuck Stormer, fuck Sticks, and all this ass slamming amp assassins. It was so funny. I was dying going through all these names. So if you watch the opening montage of the video, I say a bunch of them in it. It was hilarious.
It was good.
That's great.
I enjoyed it.
I haven't seen that one yet. I'll watch that though. That's great.
Just watched it last night. And here we are, topping the top 40 Kiss songs at number 1 from the hottest band in the land, Rock and Roll All Night from the 75 album Dressed to Kill. In April of 75, the single was released and only reached 68 on the charts. That's the Billboard Hot 100. But when the 75's live album version came out, it went all the way to number 12, and that came out in October. What can I say about this song? Actually, a lot. Signature song, played as the closing song at pretty much every Kiss show since 1976. 2008, it was named as the 16th greatest hard rock song by VH1. It was written by Paul and Gene. Gene says it was inspired by the Slade song, Mama, We're All Crazy Now. I did not know that. It was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's 500 songs that shaped rock and roll list. It's appeared in pop culture countless times, including the movie Dazed and Confused and the TV show The Simpsons. Been played live at the Super Bowl, covered several times, including Poison and Motorhead. Rolling Stone included it in their top 500 all time. Is it simplistic? Yes. Is that its strength? Yes. Is it overplayed? Yes. Is it iconic? Yes. Is it the number 1 song in our countdown? Yes. Rock and Roll All Night.
What say you, Guru?
I mean, you can't deny the historical value of that fucking thing. It is probably the number 1 Kiss song of all time. I don't need to hear it again. And we did an episode on songs I never need to hear again. That was at the top for most people. You can't get away from it. It's at every Kiss show. Shit. I coach basketball. I still hear it played at high school games, but I still like, if somebody asks me, sometimes I'll have kids, or even when I was teaching, say, well, I would wear Kiss shirts and talk about Kiss and have Kiss shit in my room. And they'd be like, well, what song does Kiss sing? I'm like, just here, listen to Rock and Roll All Night. That'll give you an idea of what you're looking at. So I would not have picked it as my number 1 Kiss song, but I completely get why it came in at number 1.
100% agree with everything you said. I don't need to hear it again. It gets really, really repetitive.
Yeah.
That's what drove me nuts about the song.
Yeah.
Is it a staple? Yeah.
Yeah.
It deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because it is such a huge song and it is part of their history, and they wrote it, and it's, I mean, do I wish I wrote it and had the royalties? Yeah. Fuck yeah. It's kind of like Happy Birthday,
right?
Yeah.
I don't need to hear that shit.
I don't need to hear it again either, but it's funny because when I thought of this idea of doing a draft, I just kind of said, and I'll go number 1. And I did that because I knew neither one of you guys, or I didn't think either one of you guys would pick this as your number 1 song. But I think it, because of, well, just the fact that you don't need to hear it again tells me everything I need to know about why it's the number 1 Kiss song.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah, because you've heard it a million times, and
it is.
You don't need to hear it anymore. What would have you picked, Guru?
I picked Heaven's on Fire here, and that may have been it. The songs that, and there's songs you get tired of. The Kiss songs that I find myself listening to more now, sounds funny, Burn Bitch Burn, I Just Wanna from Revenge. Those songs still regular, and Heaven's on Fire and Lick It Up. Yeah. Which I did pick Heaven's on Fire and Lick It Up first. Those are probably the 4 or 5 songs that if I, when they come on, it's not like, okay, fuck, I've heard this to death. I still am like, shit, I just want to, hell yeah. That opening yowl of Heaven's on Fire, I'm still like, fuck, I can handle that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Same way with that song. And it's
yep. So I might have stayed with Heaven's on Fire if at number 1.
cool. And I said,
I'm conflicted.
Strutter, Cold Gin. I Love It Loud. Those are the really big ones for me, I think. The 3 big ones. Yeah, Heaven's on Fire is up there. They have so many good songs that it's really hard to, to pick if we had to just do a top 10 list, it would have been hard because there's so many. 10 is not enough. So I'm glad we did a top 40 because they deserve a top 40.
Yeah.
They're that kind of band.
It'd be interesting to see what albums we didn't pick any, like, oh shit, we picked 5 from this album. This, the Elder, I know we didn't pick anything from the Elder.
Right.
It'd be kind of interesting to see like how the albums, and that's something that, we could talk about later, but
Sure.
anyway, how the albums were represented on the list.
Yeah. Did we pick any off that? Monster, the new one?
No.
No.
And that's a shit album anyway.
Yeah. I haven't listened to any of the new stuff from Revenge on, basically.
I thought about one off of Sonic Boom.
Sonic Boom was decent.
Was it?
Sonic Boom. Psycho Circus is good, but Monster was horrible.
Yeah. And I'm kind of weird about things like the newer stuff. I just really haven't. After 92, I just kind of went, eh. But this really opened my eyes to Kiss a lot more. Like what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this top 40 and I'm going to make a playlist. I'm just going to listen to it.
Yeah.
That's going to be my greatest hits Kiss.
Yep. It's a good way to do it.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it for our top 40. Let us know what you think. Would you have picked Rock and Roll All Night at number 1, or would it gone down the list a little bit for you? Who knows?
Maybe it wouldn't even have made it.
Everybody's different. Like Guru and I said, it's a song that, it's historically huge, and I get why it's number 1, and it deserves to be number 1. I can't say that it doesn't because it is that historically significant. But what would you have picked? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. We love you. What do you got?
Thanks for joining us, Guru. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
A lot of fun.
This is probably pushing a 2-hour episode.
It's going to happen again, I'm sure.
Epic might be the word, but I would love to see what other people say in the comments.
Yeah.
Like Chad said, subscribe. You got anything to add?
Check out Guru on X and Hair Metal Guru on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Facebook. He's got all the shit.
I appreciate you guys having me on. This was a blast, and I'm stealing this idea because the draft was legitimately fun, and I was excited about it. So awesome idea, and thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, until we see you guys again, enjoy.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We really hope you enjoyed our content. If you did, please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. We'd greatly appreciate it. Links to everything we discussed will be included in episode notes. Feel free to check those out as well. Until next time, stay golden, Pony Boy, and rock on.